Hello, dear viewer. Filet mignon coming to you from southeast Queensland where it's very hot and humid, and I'm sweating like Prince Andrew. And the reason I say that is because I've just come back from London where I was in search of the lowdown on his arrest. And having achieved such information, I have written a poem which I will present to you today. So today, here is a Right Royal Fop. A Right Royal Fop by Filet Mignon. The spare in succession was prone to transgressions, well overindulged for his age. The Queen's favoured son was a cost overrun, swamped with teddy bears kept in a cage. The little Prince Andy thought he was quite handy at being the royal loose end. With Charlie before him and Anne to adore him, his prospects were easy to wend. He sailed with the navy to sup the Queen's gravy. In Falklands he got quite a shock, for he was not special upon this grey vessel. This bird was just one of the flock. And then they saw action with scrotum retraction. The bullets whizzed past his big head. The fierce Argentines aimed straight at his behind. No respect for a British high-bred. He trembled with terror, for this was an error. His destiny wasn't to die. His pulse became thready, and lacking his teddy, he sucked on his thumb and he cried. They gave him a medal, and off he did pedal to safety within Mummy's palace. This maritime hero had learnt all but zero, his attitude transformed to malice. The role of a sailor with one snappy tailor is wooing the feminine sort. The lecherous lord had gone way overboard, partaking of girls in each port. When all that was over, he drove his Range Rover in search of some feminine lot. The freckle-faced Fergie would heal his sex lurgy, amused him by joining her dots. Their wedding on telly was food for the belly, with Fergie adorned in puffed sleeves. The space on her dress took the sponsor's largesse as a stash for the money received. The new Duke of York, known as Andy the Dork, settled down to create what he oughter. He found that his Duchess wore pants that were crutchless, popping two of their Highnesses' daughters. With that chore now done, it was time for some fun. They divorced for some bachelor parties. Fergie reposed with blokes sucking her toes, far less sugar than lapping up Smarties. Andrew was lost as his manhood was crossed. His demeanour was spiralling eddies. He yelled at his staff like a true psychopath for not fluffing his bathrobe and teddies. The Queen had a prob, so she got him a job as the government's trade special envoy. He'd travel the world on a hunt for some girls. It was known as the crass carnal convoy. He rambled so much with a fine first-class touch, he was known as the air mileage Andy. The deals that he made with his penchant for trade saw his pockets so full he was bandy. His daughters grew up, they were Fergie's sweet pups. She had never left Andrew's apartments. When on a good thing, she could hear the ka-ching of the funds from the royal department. 'Twas holiday time, and the family inclined to make use of a tropical isle, named Little St. James, must have clerical claims. They were lured by Epstein's lewd smile. Their stay would be free, with a regal entree, if the Duke could divulge Britain's deals. Rich Geoffrey would pay in a handsome of ways, an offer like such would appeal. Sarah, being capricious, became quite suspicious that her Andrew had been here before. He seemed well acquainted with massages tainted by girls wearing maids' pinafores. It didn't take long for these victims of wrong threatened Andrew that they would pursue him. They knew that he'd sweat, for his courage was wet, and they'd crush him when they leapt and sued him. He felt sick in his tummy, so ran to his mummy. Pure luck that he wasn't civilian. Ensuring compliance, securing their silence, he just needed 20 more million. The Queen's blinded eye saw no fault in her guy, so she sold off a couple of paintings. Andrew was chuffed and his chest was all puffed. He was freed from a scandal of tainting. It all fell apart when the Epstein dust cart was upturned and the garbage flowed out. The salacious android splashed on every tabloid. His debauchery cast not a doubt. Fergie, confused, was abstractly bemused as her ex lost the wind from his sails. Her prince could face trial as a black pedophile. Such a fuss for just smoothing toenails. The Queen had passed on, Andrew's shelter was gone, and now Charles held the reins of the throne. His brother, the loser, was just an abuser, and out of his house he'd be thrown. The stunned Wills and Kate watched the Prince mass debate. They had nothing but scorn for their uncle. They'd fought to revive the old crown to survive. Now this lecher, a royal carbuncle. They'd neuter his vitals and strip all his titles, but that didn't seem quite enough. They had him restricted and Fergie evicted, and that made her sleeves lose their puff. They toyed with the vision of rough circumcision, the sooner the better and quick. There was no physician to handle this mission, as there was no end to this prick. King Charles took the bit like a stiff-lipped true Brit, placed a call to the Grand Scotland Yard. This purulent lad was inherently bad, and the law should detain him, and hard. The morning time raid found the ex-prince afraid, as he clutched onto all of his teddies. They placed him in cuffs, he thought that a bit rough, and with jelly legs saw him unsteady. The plods can't abide a molester of child, so Andrew was interrogated. He'd once feigned no memory on fake documentary, but now all his lies were deflated. 8 hours of sweat, guess he couldn't forget that the Falklands had left him unable to ever perspire when his loins were afire, his alibis truly unstable. While pleading and jaded, the Thames Valley raided his mansion where staff led the dash. While seeking for graft, they searched fore and aft, found his teddies were stuffed full of cash. His goose was now cooked, for his lowness now looked like a duck that was shot out of season. His nation's great trusts had been swapped for his lust. Now he faced many charges of treason. In London, the Tower once held those in power before the removal of head, but civilized laws held the axeman on pause. It became Andy's new Tedless bed. For the price of admission, the tourists now listen to the saga of Andrew the Dork. They file past his cell in this new form of hell. The entitled is now truly forked. Oh boy, what a creep. The poor old royal family have really had some battles over the years, but this one is tantamount to disastrous for them. And let's see where it will go from here. I hope you like the poem. Please like, share, and subscribe, and press the notification bell, and then YouTube will let you know when I'm going to present another one. And leave a comment if you don't mind, because I love reading your comments. I don't get that many, and the ones that I do, I treasure immensely. So thank you so much. Now you have a wonderful day, and bye bye for now.